is my self-assessment. When I started this project many months ago, I had some experience of creating websites previously, from starting off with using online web builders such as GeoCities and Homestead to creating them with HTML and CSS. I was able to use some of my knowledge which I had already, but I had a much harder task that I was unsure if I had the ability to do so. I wanted my website to work both in English and Japanese, using the latest technology to work on modern browsers and to keep in mind about old browsers at the same time. I wanted to do this so that more people would have the ability to view my portfolio properly, rather than only building the website for only modern browsers and having a smaller audience. Since my statement of intent at the start of this project, I learned about where the web sort of started with Mosaic, which led to modern browsers we use today, such as Internet Explorer, Safari, Mozilla Firefox, and Google Chrome. Over many years, the browsers have had to change to adapt to new technology, such as smartphones and tablets, as well as use the ability to show information better, which has changed so much over the years with more graphical elements being allowed into websites. I asked many creatives in different creative industries about their thoughts on the way the websites are changing, and I gathered that HTML5 was the way to go, with the fact that HTML5 is much stronger than Flash because Flash is slowly dying. Flash seems to be dying a slow death because firms such as Apple haven't implemented it into their devices, and with the way HTML5 allows the use or implementation of video and audio, this will eventually kill Flash. This helped to sway my decision into using HTML5 for my website, rather than using Flash, as I wanted to get more exposure for my website. Although, if I had used Flash, I could have used more motion graphics, because the motion abilities are much better in Flash, as well as video, than using them in HTML5 at the moment. I also looked into Japanese design agencies I liked, to see what was going on overseas. I had a look at ACO Tokyo and Weed & Kennedy Tokyo, and noticed they work in slightly different ways, with Weed & Kennedy Tokyo that seem to specialise more in large viral campaigns to advertise products and utilising the latest technology to create apps for smartphones and other mediums to try interact more with viewers or potential customers. ACO seems to work with the latest technologies to create interactive content for online promotion. The websites for these agencies are modern, slick, and show the staff of each agency, which consists of both Japanese and foreign members of staff. I found out from talking to the creative director of ACO Tokyo that it isn't easy working in Japan, especially in design, and it is best to know the language, which is understandable, as it helps in the long run, of course, with dealing with clients. I had to look at current websites as well, and to do a critique of a website. For the website, I chose the portfolio of Raphael Stuken, and I found his website interesting as it uses HTML5 with a pretty use of heavy animation, which looks nice but also has a few errors. During the process of looking at the different websites, I took on board what they had done already, and then my next task was to look into social media and social networks, which would allow me, or it did allow me, to promote myself and my portfolio. I also spent some time looking into any drawbacks of social media and what had happened when things had gone wrong with these other social media aspects, such as Twitter and Facebook being used by companies, so that I didn't make the same mistakes using social media myself. From learning about social media, I created my portfolio on other websites such as Behance, and created pages for myself or my business on social media websites such as Google and Facebook. With my website, I also considered about how to use typography and the best way to implement typography into my website. I researched into how typography was used on other websites and learned about websites I could use, such as Google, FontDeck and others, to create my website with typography which is live. With the progression of my brand, I started to design and create other items, such as a QR code which I could use to point users straight to my website on promotional literature. I decided before the final design stage that I had to look into what scripts I could use. So I looked into jQuery, where I found examples of nice animation scripts that use jQuery and CSS, and how they have been implemented into other websites. I set about using my brand to design the website from initial sketches and applying it to the digital mock-ups of my ideas that I created. I had some problems with getting some items I wanted to use into my website and using the scripts, such as the Parallax plugin, which sadly wouldn't fit into my design style. I also decided against using animation in my website due to not all browsers supporting HTML5 and CSS animation or CSS3 animation in current browsers. Another big hurdle I had to get over during the building stage of my website was that I had problems learning HTML5 and the new tags. Although I knew some HTML beforehand, the new tags were completely different, and I had to implement different aspects such as changing the doc type and working out how to use the new tags properly in my website. I developed my website and created my website also as a mobile version, which is of course lighter and easier to use than the actual main website due to the size of bandwidth available on mobile phones and tablets. I developed my website and then created my website as well in Japanese to show my portfolio on many desktop internet browsers using HTML5, and also having the ability to translate between Japanese and English allows for people who may not be using Japanese, who go to the website by mistake, to give them the ability to change back to the English version. I found it very interesting doing this project, but I have learned to use HTML5 and CSS and about the web more, and how I can use it or use modern technology to develop my website more in the future and to keep my portfolio up to date, so I stand a better chance of getting my work noticed around the world. I hope you've enjoyed looking at my blog, and I hope you enjoy looking at my new website. Speak to you again soon. Bye.